The United States is facing another mass exodus as social and economic conditions in our major cities continue to get worse. In the past few weeks, we've also seen a number of tragedies in the country. At this point, almost all of our major cities are falling apart, which is making more people than ever want to start over somewhere else. In the past 2 years, millions of people have moved to smaller, safer, and more affordable towns. Government officials and the media try to downplay this by saying it's all temporary. They've also been blaming the health crisis for this increase in mass migration. But now that cases have been brought under control, it's clear that the pandemic wasn't the main or only reason for this change. The events of the past 2 years have only sped up a trend that people want to live in smaller places. As more people move out of expensive cities and into cheaper ones, the link between migration and inflation has become much stronger. The large number of new residents in Phoenix is causing one of the inflation hotspots. We saw right away that inflation was highest in Phoenix and lowest in San Francisco. People are leaving San Francisco by the thousands every month because living costs are so high. At the same time, as more families move to Phoenix, the cost of living in the city keeps going up. Almost every part of the Phoenix Consumer Price Index is up about 10% for whatever reason. Atlanta and Tampa are also seeing hard inflation and a rush for homes as more people try to move in. People move to Atlanta because it's cheaper. In some parts of the country, it's almost impossible to find a decent, affordable home to rent or buy. The U.S. doesn't have enough homes that families can afford, and we're still in the middle of a historic housing shortage. In fact, the number of affordable homes in the U.S. has dropped so low that a city council candidate dropped out of the race last week. Greg McGovney, a 38-year-old director of development for a housing justice nonprofit, was running for Berkeley City Council on a platform that emphasized innovative housing solutions. It was pointed out that a lot of Americans have moved in the last 2 years. A lot of Americans have left big cities, and many of them are staying for good. The report shows that more and more people are trying to get away from the harsh realities of big cities. Nothing like this has ever happened before in U.S. history. This year's Top Moving Destinations report, which is based on one-way consumer truck rental reservations, shows that the 2022 moving season has already started. The report cites a prediction from the freelancing platform Upwork that between 14 million and 23 million Americans will move this year to find better places to live in rural and suburban areas. This is between 9 and 13% of the current U.S. workforce. More than 1 in 10 Americans moved in the first half of 2021 alone. In the last year, more than 35 million permanent and temporary address changes were made. It makes sense that the way people move to the U.S. has been changing. According to data from the U.S. Census Bureau, over 60.6 million people moved in the last 2 years. High migration rates were seen all over the country, but they were especially strong in the Midwest, Northeast, and South. A separate survey done by the Census Bureau in March found that almost half of the people who moved within the country did so to find more affordable housing. It's easy to see why so many parents are trying to get their kids out of environments that could be traumatic for them. At the end of the day, if someone lives in a major city that's being torn apart by social disorder, they'll probably want to move too. This weekend alone, multiple tragedies happened in several major cities across the U.S. Official data shows that the number of crimes is skyrocketing all over the country, and more people are afraid to go outside. As summer approaches, the economy will continue to get worse, and more social unrest is on the way. It's clear now that the U.S. economy is a complete and total disaster, and many Americans are very worried about the near future of our country. They can see that our society is literally falling apart all around them, and they want to get out of the country while they still can. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it interesting, feel free to share this message with your friends and family. You can also subscribe and turn on the bell to always get our latest updates.